Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen from GamePron News, and thanks to Game Traders, I'm here with Lars from Battlefield 3, and we're talking about everything that's new and on show, and the game's only 2 weeks away, so what are you most excited about with Battlefield 3? The one thing.
If people will love it.
That makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, people have loved your previous games, and you personally have been involved with it from the very beginning. So, did you ever think back in that sweaty apartment that this is where you were going to end up, 10 years later?
No, to be honest, we aimed for the stars. We knew at that point, I think it was Counter-Strike, enormous. Or not even Counter-Strike, but it's kind of, we wanted to be big. We didn't aim for being best in Stockholm or Sweden. We aimed high. But aiming and thinking that you actually will get there is two different things. Now I stand here today with one of this year's probably biggest launches, and people are crazy. It's kind of, you have to pinch yourself.
So Battlefield 3, I mean, you say it's going to be one of the biggest launches. I mean, we've seen the lead up, we've seen everyone getting so excited. There's been closed betas, there's been open betas, everyone's... How big actually is it? It's been bigger than even you guys anticipated, right?
Yeah, it is bigger than anything we've done before. I mean, the whole kind of organization around it is bigger. The hype. A game that now has single player, multiplayer, co-op. We have the social hub. We have all the improvements in the engine to really push, to be honest, to push ourselves beyond the competition in all possible areas. And I think I'm so grateful for what the team has done. They really, really worked hard. But I think when people see it here today and the smiles on their face, that's really kind of a sign of approval that we've done it right.
So when the beta was launched, you obviously had some idea about what that was going to do. I hear you had to quadruple the servers in Australia because so many of us just wanted to get our hands on it. Was that the same sort of reaction you had around the world?
Yeah, overall it's been kind of an onslaught of people. And to be honest, that was the whole thing with the beta, since we had previous launches like Battlefield 1943, which we thought that people might like, but everyone bought it. And servers kind of kneeled on day one, and it was quite a miserable start, to be honest. And with a launch like this, you don't want to experience that. So we initiated open beta. We know that it was rough code, but we wanted it to go out there to get as many eyes as possible on it, to stress test our backend, and we got so much good data out of that. I mean, down here they had to go from doubling to tripling to even quadrupling the servers, and that really tells us that it was a wise choice to have the open beta. Otherwise, we would have experienced that on day one. Lots of good communication started with the community, so we are in a good place.
And we hear that there was a little bit of trouble with people in general not quite understanding the concept of a beta and criticizing the game for not being finished yet. What's your response to that?
Yeah, first off, I would like to apologize, since we could have been much clearer. Big splash screen saying this is not final, you're helping us building the game. In the end, I think through forums and everything, the message came through, and in the end we're so grateful for the hours people put in, for the patience and for the feedback, both kind of the blessing and the loving we got for all the good stuff, and also the criticism or needs for improvements. And people should then know that the main team has been working on this game in the meanwhile, so it's going to be a beautiful game. Thank you for spending your hours playing the game.
So do you think that this has been so popular and that there are people who aren't used to the concept of a beta who are actually picking this one up, and that was what caused some of the confusion with that?
I think so, and it's, to be honest, if I sit in front of my Xbox or PlayStation and I see something and I download it and it says beta, many times, yeah, let's play it. So we could have been more kind of clearer in our messaging. You learn as long as you live.
And you mentioned consoles. I mean, Battlefield has traditionally been a pretty heavy PC-based franchise. What's it been like making the jump to consoles and having to try and make that be anywhere near on par with the PC platform?
Yeah, so we learned so much already after Battlefield 2 and moving on to kind of first Modern Combat, but then the whole Bad Company franchise or side of the Battlefield genre. So coming into Battlefield 3, we really knew that we would like to kind of, whatever you buy, whether it's on PlayStation, Xbox or PC, we can give you and want to give you the best experience. And that's kind of our intention all the way through, and I think we've really managed to get there.
And there is actually going to be some crossover, cross-platform play with the idea of battle log that you can access from pretty much wherever you are. So what prompted that decision? Why did you decide that, it's 2011, people want to be able to check up on how their soldiers doing on their iPhones on the bus?
So ever since Battlefield 2, we had a lot of stats tracking, we had a lot of progression, unlocks, ranks, upgrades, and since then it's been with us. But all of this, all of your friends, your VoIP, everything kind of been on different places, all over the web and not with us. I think the beta test of the battle log really proved the concept. We had the forum, that's where we got the feedback, that's where we talked to the people. In there you had your friends, you communicate with them, you go into the game with them, you get your feed. At launch you will, whether you're sitting on the bus going home and see that your friends are online, they are ranking up and you really need to go home to beat them. So it's tying everything together and it's for free.
It's a good deal, really.
It's a good deal.
So much has changed with Battlefield 3. Things are new and they're different and they're exciting, but there are some things that are just going back to your roots. I mean, Battlefield 3, it looks visually similar, much shinier and more amazing than Battlefield 2, but why have you decided to go back there rather than, say, continuing with the different course that was set with, say, 2142?
Ever since kind of Battlefield 2, there's been so much kind of love and just it's a testament to the kind of greatness of Battlefield 2 that people are still playing it 6 years after launch. So I think all of that in combination with kind of a wish from our side to do it. And the beauty this time around, when we shipped Battlefield 2, it was very focused on our own game modes. You play as a teammate or you don't play at all. If you see, this time around we really give you the huge world landscapes with the all-out war, planes, tanks, or tight urban. So it's the full range, and you choose how you play. We give you, if you want to, only team deathmatch, only infantry, all the way up to the largest mode of Conquest 64 on PC. And it goes for the whole game. It's deeper persistence than ever. You can customize basically everything in your game. So it's your game, you play it your way, whether you're a lone wolf in a bush or a kind of team playing fighter pilot out there, you fight it your way.
One other obvious throwback to earlier games is the Back to Karkand expansion pack that is coming out just a month after release. So is that still on track?
Still that on track. That is being polished and polished back home. Yeah, it's great to see the love and kind of just the reaction when we announced that. And right now the main team is still kind of heavily focused on a good launch. But we have had the team working on this, which is our operations team, since this spring. So things are looking good.
So are people at home still working on putting the finishing touches, or is the game pretty much just about done? And can we expect a day one patch, or are you hoping that it'll all be finished by the time that actually goes gold?
So there are people still preparing for the launch, and then looking for kind of what happens after launch. Since, to be honest, when we ship the game, that's not the end of it, that's the beginning. It's the beginning of the long relationship. So it is really good stuff. Will there be an update on day one or not? It's quite possible. If that's what we need, then we do it, since we want you to have the best possible experience.
Fabulous. I look forward to it because it is only 2 weeks away. So excited.
Thank you. I am excited. It's great to be on the road, since then I kind of talk to people, hear the love, and I dread coming home, sitting and waiting and just being nervous.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.